Hello and welcome to Global Fashion Workshop. Let me remind you that we post a new video 3 times a week. Today we're finally starting to draft this dress. I looked back and realized that in 2020 I purchased 2 ready-to-wear dresses. One was this summer mustard linen dress, which was very popular and everyone was asking to show how to draft it. And then at the end of the year I bought this second dress. Why did I buy it? Well, I just really like that it has these very light sleeves. I find it difficult to spend a whole day inside wearing a warm dress with warm sleeves. Most often I wear shorter sleeves, and if the sleeves are long, you see what I do with them. I roll them up. So I can't have sleeves here when I'm at work. I just can't stand it. So I bought this dress, and there's also this elastic, and I can pull the sleeve up. Let's see how this dress is made. A bit above the waist, you see here this gore. Here it is. I already made a sketch. We'll now move to the table and we'll start drafting. So this gore goes all the way to the bottom, but it ends here. Not where this detail is, but at the seam here. Here's the seam. So this gore goes from this seam to this one. I'll measure it now and we'll write it down. It's not very flared, just a bit. And here, this gore is sewn into the seam. Let's look. Here's the seam. The gore is sewn into the seams. And this piece here is doubled. And by the way, it's not even stitched here. It's just folded. It's folded and pressed. This edge is folded and pressed. But the bottom one, of course, is stitched. And here is a mitered corner finish. Many people wrote specifically asking to show this corner, to show the technique to perform this step, and this whole area. Next. The front and back are simply pressed, which creates this free edge here. On the bottom, there's also a free edge. And the bottom of the garment, from this seam to this seam, has a ruffle. But it also doesn't start here, where the main material ends, but underneath. You see here? This free edge overlaps the ruffle, and here it's stitched. Oh, there's nothing else complicated in this dress. Of course, the sides here are made in sheer chiffon. If your fabric will also be transparent, you need a slip dress underneath. I have a slip dress for this one. I showed it before. The sleeve is elasticated. Of course, my dress won't have a long sleeve. It'll have an elbow-length sleeve. Here, there's a black knit band with a white stripe. Of course, we don't have a band like this one. We'll just have a simple neckband from the main fabric. And here, there's a doubled ruffle underneath. So the fabric is folded and gathered to make this ruffle. You see here? And on top, it's covered with this neckband. Well, I think it's not really necessary here. You'll be deciding for yourself, whatever you like. There's no invisible zipper here, nothing. The fabric stretches and that's it. So here's the dress. Let's take another look at the side. It's very interesting to analyze this dress. So in 2020, I treated myself to 2 ready-to-wear dresses. Well, it was on special. The outer and the inner dress cost 6,000. So I gave 6,000 rubles for this dress, which is about $80 for both, the outer and the inner dress. That's what seduced me to buy this. Now we'll start drafting. We'll go to the table and look at the sketch, and I'll go into detail to show how to do this. You see the sketch here? I measured 2 lengths, from top of shoulder to the bottom of the ruffle, 107 centimeters, 107 centimeters, but my pattern was 104, so I had to add 3 centimeters. You'll see it. Next, from top of shoulder to the end of the black piece, I have 94 centimeters. I only have to measure now the distance from the arm side to this point here, to the stitching. 12 centimeters. 12 centimeters. I'm writing it down. 12, just on the side. The width of these free edges is 3 centimeters, and on the bottom it's also 3 centimeters. So we're ready to work. I have my pattern in front of me. Please pay attention now. What did I do with my pattern? I made the front and back widths equal. So I added 2 centimeters to the back. You see here my initial line is strike through. I don't need it anymore. I couldn't erase it, so I just marked it like this. And on the front, I did the opposite. I narrowed it by 2 centimeters. So I added to the back and removed from the front. Why? So that all this beauty here would be exactly in the middle of the body and not somewhere in the back. If it's skewed towards the back like this, well, it's not so pretty. So I had to alter the pattern and make the front and back equal in width. Now let's look here. What do I do right away? I'm going to deepen the arm side by 1 centimeter right away. This is how I deepen the arm side. Well, I also want to create the illusion of more curves. So in this area here, I'll draw this way. We need to create a nice look, nice figure. So I curved it here a bit. I'm surprised at tailors who trace straight lines with a ruler everywhere. They try to fit something and refit it and do it over and over again. Wouldn't it be better to remember this line one time and then know how to do it? I personally know that here I need a bit of a curved line, but I'm getting sidetracked. And now from this bottom of arm side, here it is, I measure 12 centimeters down. This is what we measured on the dress. And I mark this line. Here it is. Here's the beginning of all my free edges. Now from this point down, I measure a straight line, but I don't want it to be perpendicular like this. I take a bit of an angle, a slight angle. If I have here, from center front to the ruler edge, let's look here carefully, 28 centimeters. Then here I'll take 26.5. So I'm tapering it by 1.5 centimeters. And same thing here. You see? Here's our line. But here it doesn't reach the end. We're going to work here some more. But for now, I'll trace here. Here too, 26.5. I'm checking one more time. A very, very gentle tapering. Now we measure 13 from the bottom, these 13 centimeters, from the bottom of the dress, 13, 13, same thing here, 13. 13. I checked if I did it correctly. And now I have the possibility at this point to take a bright marker and trace this line here, this outer line here. And same on the back. To do this, I'm taking a red marker. Red marker. Now you understand what I'm talking about. The main thing is not to get confused with the lines. And most importantly, this kind of work gives so much pleasure. The top stitching here is at a bit of an angle, a very slight angle. I want to draw this slope right away so that you understand. I measure 3 centimeters on this line and then measure about 1 centimeter down. 3 and 1. 3, 1. Now we'll trace the top stitching in red as well. And now I'll draw this free edge stitching line. For now I just traced this edge here, and now I'll trace this inner stitching line. For this I'll be measuring 3 centimeters along the piece. I think we'll have quite a bit of work with this dress, because we need to make a tutorial. Let us know. I hope it's interesting for you, because for me it is. Here is our free edge. Here we trace our free edge. I'll now do the same for the back. Wonderful. These pieces will be sewn to the gore along this inner line here. And this outer edge here, this will be the free edge. But this free edge will have a mitered corner here on the wrong side. I like it. Now we have the following goal: to work with the bottom ruffle, decide how much of it we need, and this gore. Now everything here is clear enough. I'm taking a different colored marker, for example, green. This will be our ruffle. Here it is. I'll tell you now how to calculate it. Here it's unfold. Here's the green piece. Now look. Here's the free edge, and here too. I have 24 centimeters here. Depending on what kind of ruffle I want, if I want it double, then I should take 48. But I think double will be a bit too much for me. So I'll take a gathering coefficient of 1.7. So 24 multiplied by 1.7 equals 41 centimeters. Well, I'll write 45. 45 is half, so I need length of 90. 90 is the length of this piece. Or rather, let's call it width. 90. And length is 13 centimeters. No, not 13, 16. Why 16? 13 to the bottom and 16 to the top. 90. Length 16. 16 by 90. The ruffle will be gathered and will start at this seam here to the other side's side seam. So we decided. And same thing there. We need two ruffles, these two rectangles, 90 by 16. 90 will give us a nice gathering, and length will be 16. This is without seam allowances. We'll do the same thing there. Two ruffles of this size. So here we know. Next, we all remember that this is our dress side seam here. Here and here. And now I want to flare from these side seams by about at least 4 centimeters. I'm not taking everything right away, because if I take the full amount that we need right away, and we need about 15 centimeters from this point, oh, I could actually mark it all right away. 15. And from here, let's do it this way. I'll also trace it in green so that you see clearly. From the start of ruffle, I took 15, and here from start of ruffle, I take 15. Of course, you'll see it all again throughout the process. Now, from this point, I trace a line to here. Why did I take 15? Because my ruffle is 30 centimeters on the bottom. I need 15 from here and 15 from here. And then we'll place it with the side seams together, and we'll get this gore. The gore that we have on the side. Here I'll shorten a little bit. We'll still do it later. I have a black marker in my hands, and I will be drafting the gore. I'm tracing it on purpose in such a way that the lines don't overlap. So you see clearly where the red line is, where the green one is, which one is where. You understand that the green pieces that we traced, that's where they'll be located. They'll be bigger in reality because of the gathering. And now I'll take tracing paper and trace these black pieces, and then we'll tape them together here. I'm dying here. I want to show it to you so much. This piece here is one piece. It'll look this way. Watch. I think it's about time to end and leave the rest for a second part of the video. This dotted line has to match with this dotted line. The next step will be to place tracing paper and copy this piece, and then just tape them together in the middle. I can't cut it out from here because I have these free edges. And once I trace the gore, I'll also be adding more to this piece for the folds. So I think today we gave a lot of information. It's better if we look in more detail at this in the next lesson. There's still work with the neckline and everything else, but today we covered the main points. Be different. Global Fashion Workshop will always help you with that. On this note, I'm saying goodbye. Click like, share our videos on social media. Most importantly, create with us. All the best for myself, Irina Paukshte, and our entire team.